Today we are going to do a comparison between Bitcoin and the British pound. So let's start with the historical context of British pound and its evolution. So British pound was started in the year 775 AD by King Offa of America, marking it as a new monetary system for the British. It was the first time that the first pound coins were minted in the year 775. Then in the year 1299, the Royal Mint was established, and the Pounds Authority and standardized coinage was happened in the year 1299. So this is where one of the some of the oldest coins of British pound can be found. Then in the year 1694, the Bank of England was founded, and it introduced the banknotes and the central banking practices. And in the year 1821, the British pound officially adopted the gold standard, linking its value to the gold. The Bretton Woods systems established the fixed rates, impacting the British international role in the year 1994. And this was also the time when the British were losing their colonial power status as a superpower. Then fast forward to the year 2016, the Brexit happened, and which caused significant volatility to the pound, affecting the trade and economic policies. So before we go further, let's quickly go through the introduction of Bitcoin and its origin. So Bitcoin is a immutable public ledger. Its decentralized nature eliminates the reliance on traditional financial institutions, and it fosters trust through transparency and security provided by blockchain technology, which records all the transactions every 10 minutes, which we call as a block. So now let's see some of the key milestones and the developments of both the currencies. The British pound's long-standing history reflects its evolution through various economic systems established as a cornerstone of global finance and trade, which was done through colonization of nearly one-fourth of the landmass of Earth, which made them the largest empire to ever exist in the human history. Then the second one is the Bitcoin's technological innovation. So Bitcoin's introduction to blockchain technology revolutionized currency by enabling decentralized transactions. So this challenged the traditional banking system, which are primarily fiat-based and centralized, and the system can print as much money as they want. And this fostered the Bitcoin as a new financial paradigm. Then the third one is that we look into is the both currencies face unique regulatory challenges. For example, the Great Britain pound navigates the post-Brexit uncertainties, while and the Bitcoin contends with evolving global regulatory frameworks, it impacting its adoption and legitimacy. So modern states are slowly adapting Bitcoin as its strategic reserves. So we'll see what happens with Bitcoin. Okay, so now let's see some of the comparative analysis of historical stability. Bitcoin's cap supply contrasts with British pound's vulnerability to inflationary pressures during economic crisis. So we have seen this again and again with all the fiat systems. So inflation resistance mechanisms is absent in traditional fiat currencies, which includes the British pound. The next one is the regulatory influence on stability. British pound benefits from established regulations, while it's more than 1300 years old currency. So there is a lot of regulations that has been put to protect the currency. So it has found its path as a very stable instrument for the past 1300 years. So while Bitcoin's decentralization leads to greater price fluctuations, Bitcoin is extremely new type of currency that has been created. It's less than almost 15-16 years old. since 2009. So it is very it will take some time for it to stabilize. So that is the reason for the price fluctuations. Then the pound stability relies on the economic indicators, whereas bitcoins is shaped by market adoption and investor sentiments. So this is a common thing that happens across any new monetary system that comes up. Since bitcoin is only has been there since only 2009, so we are going to take it's going to take some time to adapt and also get approval from the investors. Now let's look at the market dynamics and the performance metrics. So as of April 2025, Bitcoin's market capitalization is 1.27 trillion pounds, positioning it as a significant global asset, rivaling traditional currencies like of that of pounds. Uh, we should also note that the market capitalization of Bitcoin is higher than that of silver, which has been around for more than 6,000 years. The contrasting supply for mechanisms of Bitcoin and GDP highlights Bitcoin's potential as a hedge against inflation, emphasizing its growth relevance and modern financial systems. Since its inception, Bitcoin has been a deflationary asset. So every other asset on earth has lost its value against Bitcoin, which includes the British pound, which has lost its purchasing power in multitudes of ways. Okay, now let's look at the Bitcoin's long-term growth. Despite the short-term volatility, Bitcoin has shown significant year-on-year growth, which reinforcing its potential as a long-term investment asset. So Bitcoin has been the best performing asset since 2009. So no other asset has come near to it. And then the British pound has experienced a notable decrease in purchasing power, primarily due to inflation. It is just another fiat currency, so inflation is to be expected. And since it is also been a colonial money, so there has been a lot of economic uncertainties over the years due to multiple wars and consistent devaluation of the purchasing power of of the currency. Then Bitcoin's price fluctuations are markedly higher than those of GBP, presenting with opportunities. So we should all remember one thing: wherever there is volatility, there is life. So only when you have the opportunity, only once you have a asset that is volatile, you can trade in that. Anything that goes on a flat line cannot be traded. In fact, it's something that is dead. So risk and reward dynamics. The pronounced volatility of Bitcoin compared to the traditional currencies is like pound creates a unique risk reward landscape, attracting speculative investors while simultaneously posing challenges for those seeking stability in their financial portfolio. So there is one thing that everybody has to know about Bitcoin. It is that if you buy it and hold it for 4 years, you should see your wealth grow, and you don't have to do any special effort. So now let's look at the adoption rates and utility in modern economy. Bitcoin's over 15,000 global merchants are now accepting Bitcoin, enhancing its utility in everyday transactions and reflecting its increasing integration into the digital economy. So this is happening, is going to happen much faster and at a higher rate. And even many of the G20 countries are going to accept this as their primary strategic reserve as an alternative to gold. Don't be surprised if some of the countries will even sell their gold to buy Bitcoin. So let's also look at the institutional investment trends. So major companies like Strategy have invested in Bitcoin. There are more than 100 corporations that are currently buying Bitcoin. So even GameStop has also planned the same. And the Central Bank of Czechoslovakia has also purchased some amount of Bitcoin. El Salvador is buying 1 Bitcoin a day as part of their DCS strategy. The next one is the um, pound's economic challenges. So pound, just like any of the other fiat currencies like dollar or the rupee, is going to fail because of its inflationary pressure. Just imagine the currency is getting inflated 2% every year at minimum. Within a span of 30 years, you are going to lose 50% of your purchasing power. If there is a problem with the current economics. Now let's look at the future outlook and the implications. So here are some of the predictions for the Bitcoin's market trajectory. So Bitcoin is poised to reach 2 trillion pounds in the near future. So we are expecting in this cycle or the next cycle, based on how the economics are happening. Then the technological enhancement impact. So innovations like Lightning Network could significantly improve transaction efficiency and user adoptions. So one of the biggest criticisms of the Bitcoin is it can only have 7 transactions per second. So which is very far away from what Visa or Mastercard is offering. So that is something that is be getting addressed by the Lightning Network. So it will catch up once people understand what this is what Bitcoin stands for. And the next one is the regulatory clarity benefits. So slowly countries are giving favorable support to Bitcoin, so that it becomes a legitimate asset. So there are countries like India which are still imposing 30% of tax, but countries like Pakistan, who has had very difficult times with their economy, are slowly looking towards the usage of Bitcoin in their economy. So now let's look at the challenges faced by the British pound. So again, it is having inflationary pressure, and there is political and economic uncertainty. The Brexit, the wars that the countries include themselves are some of the biggest reasons for the inflationary um, reasons of a currency. So when a country goes to war, they have to devalue the currency in order to pay the bills. So if a country cannot devalue the currency, the war will be short lived. That is something that everybody has to remember. The role of Bitcoin in the future of financial landscape. The biggest thing about Bitcoin is its decentralization and autonomy. Okay, Bitcoin is decentralized, it simply cannot be brought down. So the probability of Bitcoin going to zero is not zero, but it's pretty much near to zero. So probably we can say that Bitcoin can go to the probability of Bitcoin going to zero is 0.21 million and then 1. So that is how low the probability is, and it gives a lot of autonomy to the users. You can become a self-sovereign individual, and it is very difficult for the governments to uh, take what you have. The next one is the global financial inclusion. So with Bitcoin, you don't require actually bank accounts. You can just simply hop on, create a wallet, and then start using. That way, banks are not very inclusive because you require a lot of KYCs to be done to get a bank account. And the biggest thing that you have to remember about Bitcoin economics is the 21 million cap. So this is cap supply positions that will safeguard against inflation. So anything that can be inflated will be devalued against Bitcoin. So I hope this was useful to you guys. So you can get in touch with me on x.com at HODL India HODL. Thank you.